something that I look for in people that I associate with. It's something that we all look for in other people, whether it's our friends, colleagues, significant others, whatever it may be. In my 33 years on this earth, I've met a lot of honest people, but there is a specific group of people that I have found to be more honest than most. And that group of people are toddlers. Specifically, this toddler right here. This is my son, Jace. He's 2. And recently, I picked him up from school one day. My wife had to work late. It's the parenting thing, so you do what you got to do. Got there, and his teacher came over and said, "We had a great day. We learned about colors today. Let me just show you what he did." She said, "Okay, Jace, what color is my shirt?" And he goes, blue. Every time he thinks about something, he goes, And she goes, "Okay, Jace, what color is the grass?" And he goes, green. So, that's a great job, buddy. That's great. She goes, "Hey, Jace, what color is Daddy's beard?" He goes, gray. He's not wrong. There is a touch of gray in there, a little nod to the Grateful Dead song there. And going into this, it got me thinking, what makes people's hair turn gray? First and foremost, people start to see gray hair between the ages of 34 and 44. Now, granted, I'm just on the lower side of that. But the thing to keep in mind is that hair and color are 2 different things. Your hair grows out of a hair/stem cell, and within that is a pigment called melanin, which gives your hair that color. So mine is red, we have black, brown, gray, silver, blonde, whatever it may be. The thing to keep in mind is that both of those kind of work simultaneously, and one of those can go out before others. Now, granted, you can see that the one on my head decided to call it quits at an early age. It still grows, but not as much as they used to. And the same thing goes for the pigment melanin. The thing to keep in mind is that when melanin stops producing, that's when you get your gray hair. The other thing to keep in mind is that hair doesn't grow gray. Hair doesn't turn gray, it grows that way. So when your hair falls out and that melanin is starting to get low, that's when you start to see your gray hairs. And people always say stress causes your hair to turn gray. You may come across if you're stressed with a job, with family, whatever it may be. But in doing my research, there's no correlation between stress and your hair turning gray. It's more that stress can make your hair fall out. So the thing to keep in mind is that as your hair is falling out, if that melanin is low, it's going to come in gray. I found this good quote. This is from Joshua Zeichner, who is the director of cosmetic clinical research at a hospital in New York. He says, "It is unclear whether emotional stress is truly associated with the graying of hair. We know that stress can have physical effects, interfering with wound healing and promoting inflammation. We don't know how significant of an impact it has on hair color, but I would not be surprised if down the road we find out that it does." The thing to keep in mind there is that I mentioned it can have inflammation and scarring that can also lead to that. So a lot of times when people have gray hair, what do they tend to do? Tweeze it. Science recommends to step away from the tweezers because it causes that inflammation, it damages the follicle, and it makes your hair look thinner. Short hair plucking can cause trauma, scarring, infection of the skin, blocking hair follicle, and future risk of ingrown hairs. Those aren't fun at all. So the next time you see somebody that looks like this, they're not just old and stressed out, they probably just tried to pluck one too many gray hairs out of their life. So besides genetics, what else causes gray hair? Well, first and foremost, like anything, aging. There's the 50-50-50 rule. People who are 50 years old will have 50% of gray hair. 50% of the population has 50% of gray hair by the time that they're 50. Hair changes along with age. Also, ethnicity. Caucasians tend to go gray, silver, or white sooner. And specifically, redheads, like myself, tend to go quicker than anybody. So with that being said, down the road, if I do get that, full hair of, full beard of gray, that can lead to a specific holiday role for me down the line. Probably look like something like that too. Following Caucasians, Asian Americans, and then African Americans, scientists still don't know why it's this order. It is what it is with that. And finally, lifestyle. Have you ever noticed that heavy drinkers and smokers tend to have a lot more gray hair than most? Not only do the side effects of drinking and smoking have on your body, but it also helps lower the B12 production in your body, which stunts your hair growth and also the melanin. So again, another thing to think about for those heavy drinkers and smokers. I have come to embrace that my hair is turning gray because, believe it or not, it's bound to happen to all of us. The melanin will not be producing in our body for the rest of our life. And it's one of those things. A lot of times people will say, oh, you can just dye your hair, it'll look good. And a lot of things that I read, they said, ease into it. That's one of the things. But I'm just gonna let it grow because think about it. It would be kind of weird if I walked in here with a head full of gray hair at this Toastmasters meeting, and then the next time I walked in, I looked like Wayne Newton. So that would just be kind of weird. So it's one of those things, ease into it. Now, as we've debunked the theory that stress causes your hair to fall out, we now know that it's those pigments within your hair follicles that actually turn to cause gray. So I have a quick story to share in closing, and the thing to keep in mind is that this dad, if his hair isn't already falling out, his pigments aren't low enough, they're going to be even lower after this. A father passing by his son's bedroom was astonished to see the bed nicely made and made up of everything neat and tidy. Then he saw an envelope promptly on the pillow. It was addressed, Dad. With the worst premonition, he opened the envelope and read the letter with these trembling words. Dear Dad, it is with great regret and sorrow that I am writing you. I had to elope with my new girlfriend because I wanted to avoid seeing with you and Mom. I've been finding real passion with Joan, and she is so nice. I knew you would not approve of her because of all of her piercings, tattoos, and tight motorcycle clothes, and because she is so much older than I am. But not only is it the passion, Dad, she's pregnant. Joan says that we're going to be very happy. She owns her own trailer in the woods and has a stack of firewood enough for the whole winter. We are a dream of having many more children. Joan has opened my eyes to the fact that marijuana doesn't really hurt anyone. We'll be growing it and trading it with other people in the commune. Joan has, don't worry, Dad. I'm 15 years old and I know how to take care of myself. Someday I sure will be back to visit you with your grandchildren. Your son, David. P.S. Dad, none of the above is true. I'm over at Kyle's house. I just wanted to remind you that there are worse things in life than that report card that's in my desk. I love you, and I'll call you when it's safe to
I would even take that as a joke, though, but